Life. Life is full of questions. So many questions unanswered and so many questions that have been answered. Questions such as, what happens after death? Why do we die? Why do we live? And what is the meaning of life? But today, I want to talk to you about one very important question that has been plaguing humanity for years. Why don't chickens have laser eyes and ducks have machine guns? Okay, it may be a bit bizarre, but hear me out. Nature is wonderful. It has a lot of weird, unique creatures. Like, for example, a firefly. It is like a small fly that can produce light, and there's bioluminescent algae. This algae that can produce light. And I have one really good example to show you. The electric eel. This seems like any other normal fish. But don't be fooled. This fish has obtained the power of lightning. For example, imagine it is an Amazonian river and there's like a small fish swimming around. And this eel needs food. And it comes slowly and slowly and slowly, and then zap! 860 volts coursing through the veins of that poor animal. Perfectly cooked as well. This 860 volts is 4 times as much as what we use in our electrical grid. What we power lamps with is 4 times as weak as this animal can produce. So, alright, then laser eyes wouldn't be like a weird thing to have, you know? So, you might say, but it will take hundreds of millions of years. Well, actually, it won't. Chernobyl, 1986. A horrible nuclear disaster happened in the city in Ukraine called Pripyat. Reactor number 4 had a nuclear meltdown and the entirety of Europe was irradiated. But especially a 30-kilometer radius around the nuclear power plant, which we call the exclusion zone. Families fled, houses were left behind, and social bonds were destroyed. But what could not escape was Mother Nature itself. Mother Nature is everywhere. Everywhere we look, there is nature somehow. And nature has to adapt. So, nature did. We see here 5 frogs, from left, the darkest one, to the right, the brightest one. And each of these frogs have been found closer and closer to the nuclear disaster. What is interesting is that these frogs, in only 38 years, have evolved melatonin in their skins. The same stuff that gives us a tan when we go outside. These frogs have evolved and changed their DNA in 36 years. So why won't I wake up tomorrow and have laser chickens coming out of my chicken coop? Or why won't I have wings? Well, that's due to one thing. Fitness. No, I don't mean like you're running up the hills and stuff and getting ripped. No, fitness is a trait's ability to thrive and reproduce. So what does that entail? Well, it means that, for example, let's look at chicken. They have eyes on the side of their heads, perfect for looking around and to see predators and to, in the grass, look for food. This is a wonderful trait that allows them to thrive and reproduce. So, you might think, okay, well, laser eyes would also be a great trait. You know, you could shoot your enemies and you could make popcorn. But there's one thing that kind of destroys this whole fact. Every step of evolution has to be advantageous somehow. Just imagine, if we were to want wings, well, birds have hollow bones, so we would have to evolve hollow bones and then feathers. But that would be really dangerous because, well, you and me probably as a child have fallen over sometimes, and then we would shatter every bone in our body. So those steps to get cool wings that will allow us to fly anywhere would be disastrous for us to survive. The same would be for chickens. Chickens, well, will first have to rearrange their eyes completely, so they couldn't see anything. So there will be an easy snack. and they would not survive. We can put this into a model. It's called the fitness model. It's a plane made of hills and valleys, and each of these squares are traits. The better the trait, the higher the mountain. And what we should learn about animals is that they can only go uphill, never downhill. So we are right now at a point where each of these animals has reached their peak. And for example, we would have, here there might be chickens with their eyes right now, and here might be laser eyes. But then they would have to cross downhill and uphill, so they would have to destroy the entire eyesight, which would be disastrous, and then go uphill. So, this is why chickens don't have laser eyes and guns, and ducks don't have guns. So, you know, fun to know, but why did I explain this? Well, it is because I have a big problem with how biology is given right now. The biology is given in a really textbook manner. It's, you open your book, you read a page, you answer some questions. And that's not how actual biology is. Actual biology is research, is to look into a question. But what I see is more you just read and you just study it and then forget about it. So I believe that in this kind of way to do research, maybe with the students itself, the lessons might be a lot more enticing and a lot more memorable. So I believe this could perhaps be a new way of education. Thanks for listening to my TED Talk. Have a nice day.